is here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, my friends. I'm Mark Levin. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. Well, most of you have heard, maybe some of you have not. Sarah Palin will be leaving the governorship of Alaska on July 26th, and she obviously will not be seeking re-election. And we do have some excerpts from her press conference, which we will play in a moment. But this is huge news, huge breaking news. Here's my take on this. Sarah Palin is the biggest attraction in the Republican Party. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen it with my own wife and daughter. And the fact is, if she wants to be president, it's very difficult to prepare and organize a serious run while being up in Alaska, out of the limelight, except, of course, when you're under attack by your enemies. She is a huge draw throughout the country. She is the biggest draw in the Republican Party. She's extremely popular and able, regardless of what the likes of Colin Powell, Tom Ridge say, and even Charles Krauthammer. And Palin knows she needs to begin the process of running now. And that not only includes traveling throughout the country, picking up IOUs, creating a fundraising base, but boning up on the big issues and testing them out on voters who live outside of Alaska. It's one thing to be a public official in New York or California or Florida, Massachusetts, Michigan, what have you, or even an ex-official, where you can get or where you've had significant national media exposure about what you are actually doing as an executive. And it's one thing to be a U.S. Senator where the media sits on the Capitol steps recording your every utterance. But it's quite another to be in a far-off place where you are largely ignored except for the cheap shots. Of course, Alaska is an enormously important state, but that's not the point. The fact is that the vast majority of us don't live there and don't know what goes on there. She could be the best governor in the history of Alaska, and we wouldn't know. And her opponents wouldn't give a damn. No matter how long she serves, they would say it's not enough. Being governor of Alaska is not enough. Which is preposterous, but that's the way it is. So I think Governor Palin is running for president. I think that when she's been at events in other parts of the country, the energy and size of the crowds are apparent, especially to her. And if you think about it, if she wants to be president, what other choice did she really have? It's a wide open field right now. Conservatism is on the ascendancy. Obama is a monumental screw-up. You can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it. He's a screw-up. So I think the budding campaign organizations of these other candidates, I think they're worried. They don't know what to make of this. Now, of course, I could be all washed up. Something could be going on personally or otherwise that I don't know about. But I'm just looking at the facts as they exist, the facts that are on the table, without chasing some theory or conspiracy. But if she wants to run for president, she can no longer allow others to define who she is through ridicule and misrepresentation. And that requires her to be more active in the continental United States. Just one man's opinion. Damn smart one, but still one man's opinion. And you're going to see a lot of the Northeast corridor, the West Coast corridor, continue to ridicule and attack this woman. You know, I just think what's been going on with her and against her has been the most vicious, vile, contemptible operation I've ever seen. They filed 15 ethics complaints against her. And I can't prove this, but knowing Obama and Rahm Emanuel and David Axelrod, knowing how Obama ran for the Senate, knowing how sleazy that's right, he is and his people, knowing how they strong-arm, I wouldn't doubt there's a coordination effort going on between the DNC, the White House, and the Democrats in Alaska to attack her relentlessly with these phony ethics complaints. And she explained that those complaints are costing her a fortune and distracting her in any event. Let's hear a little about what she had to say. This is Sarah Palin today. Cut 1, go.
I've never believed that I nor anyone else needs a title to do this, to make a difference, to help people. So I choose for my state and for my family more freedom to progress all the way around so that Alaska may progress. I will not seek re-election as governor. And so as I thought about this announcement that I wouldn't run for re-election and what that means for Alaska, I thought about, well, how much fun some governors have as lame ducks. They maybe travel around their state, travel to other states, maybe take their overseas international trade missions. So many politicians do that. And then I thought, that's what's wrong. Many just accept that lame duck status and they hit the road, they draw a paycheck, they kind of milk it. And I'm not going to put Alaskans through that. I promised efficiencies and effectiveness. That's not how I'm wired. I'm not wired to operate under the same old politics as usual. I promised that 4 years ago, and I meant it. That's not what is best for Alaska at this time. I'm determined to take the right path for Alaska, even though it is unconventional and it's not so comfortable. With this announcement that I'm not seeking re-election, I've determined it's best to transfer the authority of governor to Lieutenant Governor Parnell.
Okay. First of all, I'm sorry, I like this lady. There's something about her that's refreshing to me. I feel like we're across the table and I'm talking to her. She's not ultra polished, and yet she's very articulate. And I think she has a connection with common folks. Maybe not with the media, maybe not with Hollywood, maybe not with the comedians. And so let's listen to a little bit more. Cut 2, go.
Some say things changed for me on August 29th last year, the day that John McCain tapped me to be his running mate, and it was an honor to stand beside a true American hero. I say others changed, and let me speak to that for a minute. Political operatives descended on Alaska last August, digging for dirt. The ethics law that I championed became their weapon of choice. Over the past 9 months, I've been accused of all sorts of frivolous ethics violations, such as holding a fish in a photograph or wearing a jacket with a logo on it and answering reporters' questions. Every one of these, though, all 15 of the ethics complaints have been dismissed. We have won, but it hasn't been cheap. The state has wasted thousands of hours of your time and shelled out some $2 million of your dollars to respond to opposition research. And that's money that's not going to fund teachers or troopers or safer roads. And this political absurdity, the politics of personal destruction, Todd and I, we're looking at more than $500,000 in legal bills just in order to set the record straight. And what about the people who offer up these silly accusations? It doesn't cost them a dime, so they're not going to stop draining the public resources, spending other people's money in this game. They won't stop. It's pretty insane. My staff and I spend most of our day, we're dealing with this stuff instead of progressing our state now. And I know that I promised no more politics as usual, but this isn't what anyone had in mind for Alaska.
Mm-hmm. And I know people are going to say, cut and run, she's cutting and running. Well, I don't see it. 15 complaints, and she says 15 rulings in her favor.